Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. You're watching Question Hour, a unique show where we get you latest from the Parliament House and the questions asked by the members in the upper house from various ministries and departments and the answers given by their respective ministries. I'm your host Rajat Kain, and joining with me my colleague Kriti Mishra.
Thank you so much, Rajat. So let's take our viewers to important unstart questions that we've filtered for them in this edition of the Question Hour show.
Well, the first question was asked by member Rajkumar Dhoot from Ministry of Finance, and the member sought to know steps taken by the government to substantially increase collection of the GST across the country.
Well, in the response, the government has enumerated several steps that have been initiated in the last few days, and the government says that these steps include GST rate rationalization to improve tax compliance, mandatory e-filing and e-payment of taxes, penalty for delayed payment, extensive use of third-party sources such as State VAT Department, Income Tax Department for compliance verification, regular enforcement and compliance verification of tax returns, taxpayer education and media campaign as well. The following steps have been taken to improve the tax compliance and also the mechanism under GST, thereby increasing the revenue collection throughout the country. The government further says that wide notification order that was dated 26th of December 2019, Rule 86A has been inserted in CGST Rules 2017 to empower tax officer not below the rank of Assistant Commissioner to block input tax credit or ITC available in the electronic credit ledger of a taxpayer if he has the reason to believe that such ITC is ineligible or it has been fraudulently availed. Let's move on to the next question that has been asked by member Shanta Chetri, and this question is to the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. And the member has asked the government whether it has approved the issuance of green bonds in the country to promote the renewable sector and how much capital has been raised via green bonds.
For replying, the ministry said the Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, the market regulator for listing securities including bonds, through the circular dated May 30, 2017, has specified that debt security shall be considered as green or green debt security if the funds raised through issuance of debt securities are to be utilized for projects or the assets falling under any of the following broad categories the ministry had listed as following: renewable and sustainable energy including wind, solar, bioenergy, other sources of energy which use clean technology, clean transportation including mass and public transportation, sustainable water management including clean and or drinking water and water recycling, climate change adaptation, energy efficiency including efficient and green buildings, sustainable waste management including recycling, waste to energy, efficient disposal of waste, sustainable land use including sustainable forestry and agriculture, afforestation and biodiversity conservation. Well, the next question was asked by member KG Alphonse from Ministry of Power, and the member asked the details of transmission loss in the country, state-wise data, the details of loss suffered by state electricity boards during past 3 years, and the directions being issued to state electricity board to ensure that they become self-sustaining.
Responding to this query asked by member Alphonse, the government says that the transmission losses in the country in interstate transmission stand in the range of 2.5% to 3%, which is technical in nature. The government further says that it has launched the Ujjwal Discom Assurance Yojana, or called the UDAY, for the financial and operational turnaround of utilities in the year 2015. Further, the government has recently advised the state governments with high losses to take measures to improve their operational and financial performance, which includes instituting a system of energy accounting and releasing subsidies based on actual energy accounting for subsidized category. And now let's move on to the next question that has been asked by member Harshvardhan Singh Dungarpur, and this question is to the Ministry of Tourism. And the member has asked about the financial assistance given by the central government to promote eco-tourism in various states across the country.
Well, answering, the ministry said that Eco Circuit has been identified as one of the 15 thematic circuits for development under Swadesh Darshan scheme. The details of projects sanctioned by ministry in this thematic circuit during last 3 years are given at the annexures. In the addition to above, ministry has taken several steps to boost eco-tourism in the country, which also include the following: evolved and adopted comprehensive sustainable tourism criteria for India for three major segments of tourism industry, namely accommodation, tour operators, beaches, backwaters, lakes and river sectors, applicable for the entire country. Guidelines for approval of hotel projects at the implementation stage, and also for classification and reclassification of operational hotels under various categories mandate incorporation of various eco-friendly measures like installation of sewage treatment plant, rainwater harvesting, waste management system, pollution control and introduction of non-chlorofluorocarbon equipment for refrigeration and air conditioners, energy and water conservation measures. Promoting ecotourism through domestic and international campaigns, and also by supporting seminars, conferences and events focusing on development of ecotourism in country from time to time. Moving on, the next question was asked by member Majid Meeman from Ministry of Science and Technology, and the member asked whether it's a fact that Indian Space Research Organization, that is ISRO, is helping in providing information to fishermen about prospective fishing zones through their satellites.
The response given by the government is in affirmative, and the government says that Indian Space Research Organization, or ISRO, has designed and developed the methodology for forecasting potential fishing zones using satellite data. The methodology was transferred to Indian National Centre for Ocean Information Services, or INCOIS, an autonomous body under the Ministry of Earth Sciences, for providing operational services on potential fishing zones, advisories to fishermen. In the year 2010, ISRO has also established a satellite data reception station at INCOIS for direct reception of ocean color monitor data from OceanSat satellite. It has also mandated agency and also providing operational services on PFZ advisories to fishermen in the country. The government further says that INCOIS is providing advisory for 14 sectors covering all states and island regions of India. It uses real-time data from ISRO and National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, United States of America satellites passing over the east coast and west coast of India and adjoining waters. Ground stations were installed on INCOIS campus to acquire the data every day as and when the satellite passes over the region. Now let's move on to the last question of this edition of Question Hour that has been asked by member Vaiko, and this question is to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And Mr. Vaiko has asked the government whether it is aware that out of 7, 1 diabetic is visually impaired, which is 10 times higher than the global average.
Well, responding to the query, the ministry said that as per the National Blindness and Visual Impairment Survey 2015-18, the diabetic retinopathy is responsible for 0.8% of visual impairment in surveyed population in India. Globally, diabetic retinopathy is estimated to be responsible for 1.3% visual impairment in the year 2015. Under National Program for Control of Blindness and Visual Impairment, diabetic retinopathy is a priority disease. Screening for diabetic retinopathy has also started in some states of the country. Now, information, education, communication through print, electronic and digital media is an ongoing activity under a program for control of blindness and visual impairment to create mass awareness among public, including diabetics, to prevent impairment in the vision. Also, special campaigns are undertaken during the World Sight Day to educate people about the measures to prevent impairment in the vision, and separate estimate of amount spent on treatment of diabetic is not maintained centrally. Well, that's it in this version of Question Hour, but don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to RSTV for Prashan Kal on the other side.